All right, hello everybody, and welcome to episode 3 of the Truther Therapy Sessions. I thought to start with a bit of a little riff I've been working on. Let me know what you think. See, music helps me get in the zone. That'd be a good way to describe it. Now, I must say, it's 10 in the evening for me on a Friday night. Clearly, I have nothing better to do. But I understand for most people in America, it might be around 5 in the afternoon, if not 4 in the afternoon. So still quite early for you guys. This is the first time I've been able to stay up this late because I've been working early shifts all week. So I thought I'd push it a little bit later. But I have been up now for about 16 hours. So if I'm a little bit slow, if I'm not quite with it, forgive me. Now we have quite a show today, well, I think anyway, because I'm going to be doing a reading from a fantastic book by Gary Wayne called The Genesis 6 Conspiracy. I ordered this on Amazon, I think, for about £25, £30, something like that, including postage. It's quite a big book, quite a weighty book in terms of number of pages where there's raw information. We're talking 600 pages and talking an extra 200 pages of just references at the end here, as you can see. It's a fantastic book, and Mr. Wayne is a brilliant researcher, and I follow him on Facebook, and he posts some fascinating things every other day, which just blow my mind every time. So what I want to do is give a little reading from this book so you can get an idea of what he has been teaching and showing people. And it all relates to the topic of this series today, the Nephilim. Now, the Nephilim, you know, I've talked about these on my channel plenty of times. If it's new to you, you're going to find out what they are today. But I have quite a lot of theories about what these things look like, and you know, maybe one day I might be able to get Mr. Wayne to come on the show and have a discussion about this. Now, before I start, I better check the sound is actually working on this. So I'm going to go over here to the chat. As it stands right now, I think it's coming through fine. I can see the bar moving. That's great. We'll get back to this here now. Okay. I'm going to get comfortable because I'm going to be reading for about 20 minutes to half an hour. And then I'm going to spend the next half an hour after that having a quick discussion about a few things I understand and think about the Nephilim. And then on the hour mark, I'm going to open it up to see if anyone wants to come on to have a talk and share anything they want to think about, because this is the Truther Therapy Sessions, first and foremost. Hi everyone, I can see you watching. Can you hear me okay? Some feedback would be good on this before I begin. Oy vey indeed. Oy vey. Right. Well guys, so like I said, I'm going to read from the opening chapter of Gary Wayne's book, The Genesis 6 Conspiracy. Those catching up who've just joined. And it's going to be a fascinating read, without a doubt. So without further ado, here we go. The Nephilim enigma of Genesis 6 is curt narrative, included with that explanation with the flood narrative. Not to mention, Nephilim were recorded in many Old Testament books like Exodus, Numbers, Joshua, Ecclesiastes, First Chronicles, Psalms, and Apocrypha. Nephilim are crucial to understanding the Antichrist prophecies and the last days. And yet, who really knows who or what these Nephilim were? What imperatives and warnings must this generation discern from this abstruse mystery? and how are Nephilim related to aliens, fairies, vampires, secret societies, and world governments? We will answer these questions and many more as we plunge into diverse scriptures to examine the Genesis 6 conspiracy. Evidence will be presented supporting my content that there is an ongoing 6,000-year conspiracy by dark angels, secret societies, and the descendants of Nephilim that is bent on enslaving humankind under an oppressive government that is hostile towards God. Section 1. The Antediluvian Epoch. The Age of Great Heroes. Chapter 1. Heroes of Old. Quote, Genesis 6:4. The Nephilim roamed the earth in those days and afterward, when the sons of God went to the daughters of men and had children by them. They were heroes of old, men of renown. End quote. The unexplained Nephilim narrative originates in the book of Genesis, during the time of Noah. Readers are not provided with any defining details or with appropriate context as to just what Nephilim were. Readers are only instructed that sons of God coupled with daughters of men, which curiously produced the renowned heroes of old. But isn't this a very strange anecdote in the preamble to the flood narrative? Why were Nephilim provided prints just before one of the most epic tales of Scripture? Why were these cryptic Nephilim people described as both heroes of old and men of renown? Surely, all this cannot be a coincidence. It is my contention that Scripture has been brilliantly diligent in its accuracy and historically precise in its application of text. The ancient application to the appellation word hero is not generally understood today in the same context that hero was applied and understood in ancient texts, and thus it is comprehended in a completely different connotation in everyday life of the ancient epochs. The ancient recollection of heroes is more akin to our contemporary phenomena of superheroes, such as Superman and Spider-Man. Indeed, these contemporary superheroes reflect allegories of forgotten secrets to epochs past, fond memories by some harkening back to an age of superhuman heroes. These contemporary cartoon characters eerily whisper something seductive, something secretive, and something sinister from the misty fog of prehistory that we dismiss at our own peril. Consider this. One definition provided by Webster's New Format Dictionary, 1986, defines hero as a man of superhuman powers, a demigod, end quote. If the original translation for hero then is applied to Genesis 6, we indeed have a cryptic enigma, in that a race of superhuman demigods is part of the flood narrative. Just as curious, and without explanation, all renowned men of antiquity were depicted as heroes that persistently and continuously bubbled to the surface from the murky depths of primeval history, as part man, part god, reigning for long durations. The Encyclopedia Americana testifies that among the ancient Greeks, heroes were those who were legendary for their bravery and achievements, and who possessed exceptional strength. Homer's Iliad generally referred to heroes as kings and sons of kings. They were fierce warriors who did mighty deeds and waged mighty battles in the shadow of the common human's fate. The Odyssey describes heroes as wise and venerable beings, such as Hercules or Heracles, who lived to great ages. Homer further noted these mighty heroes were always doomed to gloomy fates. The Roman poet Ovid authored Heroides, a series of 21 poetic love letters written to heroic lovers / husbands by the women of the heroic age. That included letters between Paris and Helen, and Leander and Hero. Hero is not conclusive, but experts believe hero to be closely connected to a root word meaning strong, or one who guards or protects, suggesting soldierly or militaristic qualities. In truth, the concept of heroes from all races around the globe refers to a specific race of an early age, antediluvian. Before historical records were written of the race and to legendary characters of divine dignity and laws. Teutonic and Celtic heroes were also figures descending from gods like Odin, Loki, and Danu. Regarding these ancient accounts is that all denote these pre-flood heroes as both a venerable and a distinct race of powerful demigods, separate from the mundane and mortal humans. Greek heroes were noted to be mythological beings. Their positions amongst the sanctioned hierarchies of beings were placed somewhere between mortals and gods, making them semi-divine. Hesiod recorded Aeneas in a composition by the same name. As the ancient hero of the Dorians, Hesiod eloquently provided Macedonians a fabulous pedigree akin to Greek heroes descended from Hellenes, Doris, patriarch of the Dorians, Xuthus, patriarch of the Ionians, and Aelios, patriarch of the Aeolians. Zeus fathered both Macedon and Magnes and Thyria, with Thyria, another goddess, producing a proud people who rejoiced in horses and dwelt near Olympus. First, the Macedonian kings hailed from a warrior chief clan descending from the southern Greeks, the Argead. Hesiod claims was a contemporary of Homer, circa 900 BCE, further recorded heroes in his famous works and deeds as men of great renown. Was the Greek historian considered the father of history, circa 485 to 425 BCE. He was a follower of Hecataeus of historical science, transcending the rational criticism of epic traditions characteristic of his predecessors. Herodotus drew his knowledge from his extensive geographical, historical, and literary knowledge, as well as from his first-hand experiences in the many countries he visited. Exacting language that specifies heroes and men of renown cannot be a mere coincidence, nor can it be considered completely independent of the precise text employed by Genesis. Hesiod buttressed, through testimony of his days, the validity of Nephilim recorded in Genesis to beyond 900 BCE in his text all the way back to the antediluvian epoch. Even more striking, Hesiod stated in Works and Days that he evidently belonged to the period immediately following the Trojan War. This dating, if accurate, would likely trace Hesiod's testimony back several hundred years beyond 900 BCE. Hesiod additionally recorded Greek heroes, commonly known as titans, warriors, demigods, potentiated gods, from a former age of heroes. Hesiod recorded the birth of the gods, the giants, semi-divine titans, a library of the oldest known fables from his age, creating a work called Theogony. Homer's Iliad also referred to these titanic heroes as demigods. Greek philosopher from the 3rd century BCE, Euhemerus, became famous for stating Greek myths were in fact dim memories of historical events from an earlier age, a theory that became known as Euhemerism. Consider texts on clay tablets from ancient Mesopotamia, museums around the world, then quoted in the textbook of schools and universities as part of secular revisionist history. These ancient legends descending from the antediluvian Sumerians were inherited by post-diluvian Babylonians, Chaldeans, Akkadians, and Assyrians. And they became a critical component to their cultures, religions, and societies. Sumerian legends that include the Epic of Gilgamesh curiously refer back to an age of heroes reigned over by semi-divine Anunnaki giants, or the flood catastrophe, and then somehow survived into the post-diluvian world. Hesiod critically understood these heroes as the mysterious and infamous fourth race of beings created by the gods. Does the four races refer to the mortal humans, the centaurs, the heroes, Nephilim? Or does Hesiod refer to the two races of humans, the sons of Adam, along with the centaurs and heroes? Or does Hesiod refer to the fairy folk, Nephilim, centaurs, and humans as the four races? We will learn about all these races as the book unfolds. What is clear, however, is that the Bible and most of the ancient transcripts, scriptures, legends, and mythologies testify to a powerful antediluvian race of superhumans reigning as kings and demigods over the mortal and mundane humans. The first personalities, heroes, from memories of written history, according to author and historian Suzanne Wise Bauer, universally testify to a reign of obscure kings documented as part man and part god, which somehow descended from heaven on eagle's wings. This is my contention, that somehow these ancient Nephilim perished from this world. They have been forgotten by the modern secular psyche and accepted history. All accounts have been marginalized to the sidelines as fanciful mythology and legend, as a wistful yearning back to a revisionist golden age of pastoral peace and prosperity. Sadly, Western historians, according to Bauer, have trained in university systems only science is infallible. These historians do not trust in the tales from prehistory and position themselves as scientists, missing any historical material that departs from Newton's universe. They deny that the Titan Nephilim race was both real and powerful, a shadowy race of demigods who left a large and visible impression upon the ancient epochs. It is essential to understand the Nephilim as a legendary race of giants mythologized to have coexisted with humankind in the ancient world, created a new culture, religion, and knowledge base. But do we really know the sources and inspirations of this ancient and mysterious race? The accepted secular chronicles of antiquity. What impact, if any, did their culture, religion, and or knowledge have on the ancient world? Did Noah know the Nephilim? Did the Nephilim have anything to do with the flood? How were Nephilim introduced to the world? And what kind of people were they? To resolve the Nephilim mystery, we must backtrack to understand obscure and unexplained events preceding the flood. This venture into the ancient epochs of the Old Testament and the divergent transcripts, mythologies, and legends from a vast variety of cultures, writers, and organizations will deliver a series of shockwaves to the standard modern theology and secular history. Be prepared, be aware. The truth will set you free, but the truth may not be what you have thought or what you want. Okay, guys, that's the opening chapter to the Genesis 6 conspiracy. And I hope you enjoyed that. That was a tiring on the throat, to say the least, but as you can tell, it was fascinating stuff. Now, is this something many people were asking you in the chat, if you could give me some reply here? Is this something you've thought about much yourself? Is this a topic which has got you interested more and more in the truth and conspiracy? Because this, for me, is fantastic. Science, for me, are very important if we want to reach secular people, especially. People have massive, massive hang-ups about the flood story. You know, you've heard it all before. You know, why would a loving God send a flood to kill all the humans? That's just cruel. It has been difficult to explain that to people, for many Christians, for a long, long time. However, when you add the Nephilim into the equation, it suddenly makes a lot more sense as to why God would send a flood. Now, I'm going to read more of this book, probably the next chapter at the beginning of another episode, maybe the next episode. If you want this to be a regular thing, let me know in the comments section or in the chat, and I'll keep reading this book. But in terms of the Nephilim, this is a conspiracy channel, and I expect people who have come here to listen to this probably know everything about the Nephilim already. That's new information. Kadon says the Nephilim are trannies. Perhaps. I do believe they are, like the Baphomet, for example, is a transgendered goat beast. I believe angels were genderless too. Offspring of angels mated with human women. I say genderless, but I suppose it could be either or. But yes, onto the Nephilim. I have a theory myself, and I'm sure you know about this. But if you're new to this, I believe the Nephilim and clowns have a lot more in common than we otherwise would have realized. Now, I made a recent video about this, explaining that carnivals were in fact a physical manifestation of the spiritual realm. Not just any spiritual realm, the realm where the Nephilim spirits, post-flood, now reside. And when taking the principle of as above, so below into some kind of realism, because I do believe these things are true, they have been manipulated by the occult. What happens in the spiritual world does manifest in the physical, and what we do in the physical is not detached from the spiritual in any way, shape, or form. So when we have these big carnivals, where we have a big pinwheel with flashing lights, lots of noises beaming around left and right, bombarded with flashing light bulbs of multicolored arrays, and having people on stilts walking around, reference to the giants, and people with crazy wild colored hair and crazy clothing all over the place, the clowns, you go to Cirque du Soleil, we have them performing amazing acrobatic feats, and spinning around and contorting their bodies into bizarre shapes. And as somebody who's done psychedelics, I can where the inspiration for such things has come from. I believe carnivals are a direct symbolic representation, if not manifestation, of the spiritual dimension on the physical plane of the earth. Where people come, venerate, celebrate, and if not allow demonic presence or entities to join them, like the Nephilim. Now I say the Nephilim look like clowns, because the Nephilim were understood to be white, very pale white skin, porcelain in nature, let's imagine, to have red hair, piercing blue eyes. I've heard they could be green as well, any other colour, I suppose, but they weren't dull in colour. They were vibrant, colourful entities, a lot like a clown, what we would consider today. And obviously, the clown symbolism is merely a caricature, a modern-day caricature of the Nephilim of antiquity. So, what Gary Wayne was explaining about how mythological symbolism and ideas carries on from the past into the future, I believe how ancient tribes still worship the Nephilim is a lot like how modern-day Westerners worship the Nephilim too in their festivals and carnivals. The Carnival of Basel is a very fascinating one. And in fact, I'm going to bring it up just for conversation's sake now. I'll share the screen. Bear with me for a second. I'll find the carnival. Right, so the screen share. Screen share. Share. Sorry, guys. Repeat pattern going there. Okay. Hopefully you can see this, but as you can see, the carnival. This is something my mum brought home a book or a printout, a photocopy from the book, because she works in the library, of Ripley's Believe It or Not, and it's talking about this festival, this specific festival here, the Carnival of Basel. It's Swiss. It's a Swiss festival, I believe. And it happens between February and March. And there's this common thing where at 4 in the morning, they would come out and play their drums, bang their drums, and go through the streets. Just look at the images here of what people wear at these carnivals and some of the horrific things they kind of exemplify. Now, obviously, this is obviously some kind of a ancient pagan European festival. But look at these things, these large heads they were. Now, I looked into it, and these costumes cost a lot of money to make. Like, these people in Switzerland spend a lot of money on this themselves, personally, to get the right costume. And they always seem to have this over-accentuated, large head, like a giant, we could say. And clownish, jester-like features, or ghoulish, ghost-like features. Like, look at the white skin here with the red lips and crazy multicolored hair, white porcelain skin, accentuated, large, bulbous features. You know, if you haven't watched the video series on the clowns, there's 9 videos now, about 4 hours worth of things to research and look up that I've said. But this is damning evidence, you know, that something suspect is going on in Switzerland. I mean, just look at these things. Look at this large bulbousy red nose that keeps getting shot as well. Look at these things. Big wide mouth. Now the Nephilim was said to have 2 sets of teeth, making their smile extra wide. You know, they were cannibal-like in nature. They were terrifying monsters, beasts. You know, covered. Some of them were covered in fur as well. They were giants. They were very wide and stocky and massive. You know, vicious creatures. Not well. According to Gary Owen's book, actually, they weren't too intelligent, but intelligent enough to be able to use the information given to them by their fathers, the fallen angels, mainly to subdue and destroy mankind to the inevitable end of sending a flood. Look at this one here, isn't that psychedelic? This big bulbousy red nose is a really common theme I'm finding in a lot of these helmets they like to make. Well, just a large bulbous nose. Now we still celebrate the Nephilim today. Now here is a clown, this is what I mean. Now, in terms of the clothing, it's always these fractal, polka dot, psychedelic, multicolored patterns. Now I believe the psychedelic realm, as you can see and go to on DMT, or even if you take acid, let's say, it takes you to this place where it looks a lot like these psychedelic colour. And I believe that is the realm where the Nephilim spirits reside. People always, well not always, but it's very, very, very common that they encounter jesters when going on these psychedelic journeys and trips. I think the jester is kind of, you know, with the psychedelic clothing and skin, it's just a symptom of them looking like that now, because they're in the fractal realm. So Harley Quinn patterns is a good example of this. I also noticed as well, beings, because they are bodiless, they are more light, colour and sound than physical properties now. So say you shine a light onto a prism, you get a rainbow. So the multi-colours of the fractal prism matrix therein, and the rainbow flag are being handed into pride, gay pride, and specifically the sinful, prideful festival. And a lot of these carnivals, people go around dressed like clowns. And if you look at the average like Mardi Gras festival, let's say, and then look at the gay pride festival, they're very, very similar in nature. Now, is this clownish look manifesting into reality? A good example of, you know, the Nephilim demons within people's temples, bodies, manifesting physically. People feel the urge to dress up like a clown or multicolored and psychedelic in nature. Is that a physical manifestation of the spiritual condition or the entity within the person? Is that manifestation of the clown in the physical, dressed like one, really them? I do wonder, just a theory. But as you can see, you know, this stuff is pretty scary. And this is one festival of many all over the world. You know, it seems like all European cultures, all ancient cultures have their own kind of bizarre festival of some kind where they venerate these jester-like, clown-like, white-skinned, big-headed demons. There's no real other way to put this, to be honest. I find it interesting, this one here, they have the Om on top of their head, the Om noise. There's a very new age concept of using sound, letting that Om vibrate out to the point where you can vibrate your consciousness out of your body to some extent, but also frequency and vibration is a very powerful tool if you understand how to harvest it. There's ideas that in the past people use sound and frequency and vibration to lift heavy objects, let's say. But I do believe it's used specifically in spiritual practices to make a connection to the realm of light and sound, which is the realm of these Nephilim, disembodied giant spirits, what we call demons now. Fascinating stuff. So yeah, if you haven't already, go onto my channel and check out the Nephilim Look Like Clown series, because I cover a lot, I mean a lot of different examples of this across many cultures, pastimes, and just how it's weaved in throughout society in many sorts of levels that haven't been obvious until recently. And it begs the question, well, not the question, it helps to understand why are people so terrified of clowns. It's definitely a irrational fear, and by any stretch of the imagination, a man wearing a silly costume. That's what it is in the physical sense. Why does the look of that thing give people a sense and a feeling of extreme dread? Could it be that it's so deeply rooted into us since antiquities, in our DNA, to fear the look of these things? Because once upon a time, it terrorized mankind, tore them to pieces, ate them, dominated them, ruled over them. They were vicious, vile, horrible, terrifying monsters. Their father was of the devil. They had no spirit or connection to God. They knew nothing but evil continuously. Is that why? Has that passed down, that fear generation? Has it been ingrained into our DNA, our information, our senses, our instinct to fear the being that looks like this? Let me know what you guys think. Do you think I'm onto something here? Do you think I'm crazy? It's this is here for you guys to share your thoughts, share your opinions. Again, not just for me to rant on completely for 2 hours straight. Like I said, on the hour mark, we're halfway there now. I'm going to open up the lines for anyone who wants to come on and have a chat about whatever you want, whatever you've been researching. Have you found something that's made you terrified of life, and you think you might as well just sell all your stuff and buy a load of doomsday supplies, get a bug-out bag, and just go to the mountains? Or have you found something that's given you new passion and faith in God, perhaps, or something that you're just not too sure about, something you're confused about? Let me know. Come on and talk about it. Let's have a back and forth. I'm always open to learn new things. If you have anything new you want to share as well. Until then, for the next half hour, maybe less, thanks if my talking points last that long. There's something I want to bring up quickly, because I made a video about the Grenfell Tower. It went quite viral. It has about 46,000 views now, which is shocking. I didn't expect it to get that high, to be honest. I thought, just our little conspiracy community would have a look at the symbolisms I brought to the table for that event, like the Economist magazine cover showing the burning tower with communism and Christianity on either side, looking like they're about to have a war over this burning tower. And in Britain, we seem to have that kind of attitude going. Traditionalist values versus socialist New Age values kind of coming ahead. But there was one particular gentleman on there. I think his name was Edward, correctly, or something like that. He said, I got a lot of abuse for it. A lot of people weren't happy I was talking about this, because people died and it's insensitive, and I'm an evil, privileged, white racist, apparently, who doesn't have a right to say anything about anything because of my terrible ancestors' historical past or something like that. So a lot of black supremacists came at me, which was very bizarre. But other than that, I had one gentleman, who was argumentative at first, but we talked it out, and he said, oh, hey mate, I'll subscribe to your channel. It's nice to have a conversation, even if we don't agree, and that's fantastic. There's one thing he was talking about called spirit boxes. Getting it back onto the Nephilim. And he says he wants to get into this. He knows a lot about spiritual things, and he wants to get into communicating with them. Now, I have to say, as someone who's researched this for a long time, spirit boxes was something I studied about 2 years ago when I was just getting into all this. I remember finding a lot of testimony and examples and video footage evidence of people who do this and mess with these frequency boxes that make a sound and But you tune into the spiritual realm and you ask it questions, and entities would reply. And obviously, many people are going to usually think they get in touch with some kind of spirit guide or an ancestor spirit or an angel or just something they don't understand that is enlightened, perhaps, or better than them. I want to make it clear, these are the Nephilim. That's what they are, the disembodied spirits of the giants, the heroes of old, of antiquity, who died in the flood, and the remainders that died after the flood as well. David and Goliath is a good example of this. He was the king of the one particular tribe of giants. You know, there were many tribes, but they were all wiped out. Maybe not all. Might be traces left today. That's still a debate. But the things on the other side when you use these spirit boxes aren't your friends. That's just my warning from, you know, honest research and what I've discovered and the end conclusion that most people in our culture have come to anyway already. I'd have to convince the choir, you know. But this new subscriber who's watching this and he's curious about, you know, what I'm about. Welcome to the world of conspiracy, mate. I know that video was quite mainstream in its topic. You know, I was talking about a recent event and it was interpreted politically when really it was nothing to do with politics. It was about the occult. That's what I was trying to expose. Things most people in the mainstream would not even care about, pay attention to, or even believe is there or exists. Here we go. So, you know, things like a Ouija boards are another example of a spirit box. You focus your energy and intent onto this object with the sole purpose and desire to communicate with the entities on the other side. And these things aren't stupid. They know you. They know your ancestors. They know your grandparents. They know your parents' parents' parents. They've been around for thousands of years and have watched you, me, and all of us very closely. So say you think you're getting in touch, let's say, with a dead relative. Your mother, your father, your sister, or whoever. And it sounds like them, and they're saying things only they can know. It must be them. Think again. These things are there to deceive you and to make you believe whatever's on the other side is there to help you or a good thing. And they will pretend to be your dead relatives. They will, to gain your trust. And they will say things that only your relatives could have known, like the money that was hidden in the third drawer with the message in the note. How did this person on the other side know? You know, mediums will do this. How did the medium know? Well, the demon saw the person do that. Told the medium to say this to the sucker, the pundit, and just whispers in the ear of the medium, who then translates the message to the person who believes this, they're in contact with their relatives. Very deceptive, very sneaky. This is the power you can be given if you have a demon attached to you and you know it. You open yourself up and know full well what the deal is. Once you get to that level, you can make it look like you can read minds. You can make it look like you can make things teleport. You can be the most famous magician that ever existed, performing things that make people go, how do you do that? Wow, maybe he's the new Messiah or something. And there's a lot of people who think that way. I mean, Dynamo is a good example of somebody who constantly mimics Christ. You know, I think there's an example where he put his arms out as he was walking on water near the River Thames. Now, I don't know if that was fake or not, but there's a lot of things that he does which are questionable. Camera tricks out the window, you know. Look up Zendrius and his Demon Magician series. That is a fantastic breakdown of this concept. He didn't know then that the Nephilim were the demons when he made the series, and now with this new knowledge, Gary Wayne's fantastic book, it's pretty clear why these things exist, what they want, and where they come from. Where they're taking us, well, from there. Now, it's not just magicians that Nephilim demons can help. If the magicians know, well, it's musicians too, and we see this when musicians perform amazing feats on instruments, let's say, or sing fantastically well, or have an amazing stage presence, some way that attracts people to them. Well, that's more than likely the Nephilim demon, or the old man or woman of renown, the hero of renown, wanting that worship, that veneration, that idolization back at them. And what better way to do it than dwell and take over and sing as a human to a crowd of thousands of people who are going to cheer and love you. These beings are proud. That they were full of hubris. They thought they were the greatest things ever and had no fear of the Lord. Were proud, boasting beings of their time. And they haven't changed. You know, they haven't changed. And many people sacrifice to the Nephilim. You don't get these deals. You don't get to work with the demonic Nephilim, these gods of the past, these kings of the past, unless you make a deal with them. And this deal involves sacrifice. Always will, always has been. And you hear those minor stories in conspiracy cultures of celebrities sacrificing their mother, their children, all these type of things to get that $3 million, $30 million deal, let's say, or something like that. But on many other levels, we have the satanic elites who are in control of all the conspiracy that we're trying to uncover. We have these guys literally sacrificing, torturing, raping, and drinking the blood of children, which is horrific. But this is what they do. Why? Because they are in direct connection with these beings on the other side, and they know that the way to bring them over and get more power from them and create stronger channels in order to channel the demon to be more creative and powerful and have more influence is to sacrifice to these things. The life is in the blood. It's all in the Bible. Blood is a precious thing. And it's understood that, the Nephilim drank the blood of humans. The elite believe they are descendants of Nephilim. They are proud of Cain's lineage, the bad side of man. They want to be with that. And they continue the practices of their fathers and their ancestors by still drinking the blood of humans today. So if you're going to use a spirit box or make a deal to be an excellent magician or musician, you're in a very ignorant position. You don't understand there's a cost. It's a cost not only your soul, although God will always own your soul, but you can lose yourself to these things and be under their control. And you will have to sacrifice something you love, something that will break you. That's what these things work. It's not worth it. It really isn't worth it. Don't do these things. Don't touch the spirit box. That's my warning. I've said everything I could. I'll send you the link to make sure you see this video. Edward, if that's your name. I'm sorry if I'm wrong, but you know who you are. You know what I'm talking about. My warning, I feel better knowing I've warned you. Don't do it. Get into this stuff that I'm talking about here. Try and research more of this, and trust me, it'll blow your mind. It'll send you down a crazy road that'll make you go, man, what have I been thinking my entire life? It'll really shatter a paradigm in your mind. So it's a fantastic idea. I believe they're trying to bring these things back now too. They really are trying to bring them back. You've heard of CERN, this giant pinwheeled portal. Not dissimilar from the mandala seen by DMT trekkers, the portal they go through before they get to the DMT realm where the jesters are. Not dissimilar looking from a Ferris wheel at a carnival, which represents the realm where the Nephilim reside, maybe the portal entrance to this realm. CERN is definitely trying to crack open a portal to bring these things back. Their gods here, to bring in the new age and put their antichrist at the head. There's many things, we can talk about to bring that whole agenda to fruition, but we're trying to keep on top of the Nephilim today, so let's keep it simple. Now, there's this D-Wave computer as well. Now, all D-Wave is, as we understand, is a glorified Ouija board, a glorified spirit box, a way of directly channeling and transferring messages from the spirit realm without the hocus pocus or the weird, wacky gadgetry. It's cut and dry processor which smashes through the other dimension and pieces the whole and lets them funnel information to and from. So they have direct, efficient contact with these gods, men of renown, these demons, and fallen angels, I assume, as well. They have that now, and they are certainly ramping up their agendas as of late, if you haven't noticed. Which gets me on to transhumanism. This is a real. Richie from Boston made a 4-hour-long video about this recently. But I've been talking about this for a long time, transhumanism. The idea that man can transcend and be like God himself without God. This idea that somehow we'll use technology to save us from ourselves and will evolve to become human plus the next human, the next level. In our evolution, pushing the evolution myth as always. If you didn't already know, evolution's a lie, complete lie. And I'm confident you're going to make that claim, because I know you can go find out for yourself how much of a con it truly was. Remember, the skeptics out there, that's what I'm saying. I was raised and trained in the same educational system as you were. I'm still a relatively normal guy. I haven't lost my mind. I understand what we were taught. However, I went on to learn what we weren't taught. And there's a lot. So just bear that in mind. But with this transhuman idea, there comes something called the black goo. Have you heard about this? Now, black goo is a concept of a programmable matter of some kind. Matter you can send some information to and get it to just change into whatever you want it to be. Transformers is a good idea. This a film, these robotic entities that can become a car, and they become a huge man-like robot, grow and change and add more molecules to themselves, and black goo, programmable matter. And this is something they're pushing a lot in subliminals in media. Lucy, the film Lucy, is a good example of this, where this lady who merges with technology and becomes one with the internet decomposes into black goo and manifests a hard drive which saves the world or something. So again, programming that technology and transhumanism, man merging with machine, will save everyone. All the world's problems and make us superhuman, superheroes, Nephilim. There's nothing new under the sun, and what has been will be again. We were told this. As it was in the days of Noah, so shall it be in the days of the Son of Man. And as it was in the days of Noah, was Nephilim were walking around everywhere, human, hybrid, chimeric entities that were no longer human but superhuman because they had taken a deal with fallen angels. All that mess. And it sounds exactly like what's going on today. Why do you think they had a massive boom in technology only in the past 100 years? Just everything was the same, trucking along, for many, many years. Humanity didn't really ascend out of horses and carriages, and as we had it, and then boom, the steam engine, industrial revolution, all technology came as it is today, where I'm using this magical scrying mirror device to communicate to whoever I want around the world instantaneously. That's a massive radical change for human beings in our lifetime. But as it was in the days of Noah, so shall it be in the coming of the Son of Man. So Jesus is coming back in this case. Now, black goo is a dangerous concept, because if mankind becomes black goo, or if mankind decides to transfer his consciousness into another better, better vessel, then you're no longer a human. If you are no longer a human, then you're created of earthly objects, earthly things, metal, programmable matter. It's not a creation of God, that's for sure. That means that you no longer can possibly, at all, in any way, shape, or form, have a connection to God, and therefore you can never have protection from the Nephilim demons. If you put your consciousness into another vessel, if you become a black goo thing that can transform into whatever you want, whenever you want, it's probably more than likely that a Nephilim entity will just waltz into that body that you decided to occupy. And this new vessel, which you abandoned your old God-given body for, just wander in, take full control of all the nanoparticles and technology within that vessel, delete you, your consciousness, and live in this body. This new body, which it can transform and turn into whatever it wants. And can you imagine having centaurs walking around again? Fauns, fairies, of all shapes and sizes, giants, these seemingly impossible beings by our today's standards. But if you had a black goo which could be programmed to be any shape you want it to be, and you were a supernatural being with the ultimate know-how to manipulate such things from your advantage position in another dimension, is it unlikely that they would just manifest once again as the beings they used to look like in the past? And as it was in the days of Noah, so will it be once again. I'm theorizing with everything I've kind of compiled together here, but there's a few things you may not have thought about, which may be worth thinking about in terms of transhumanism and the black goo concepts in relation to the Nephilim. Now, if you've just tuned in and you haven't already realized, at the beginning of this, I read an excerpt from the Genesis 6 Conspiracy by Gary Way, a fantastic book. So if you want to rewatch this video, listen to the first opening 20-minute segment, you get a glimpse from what this book has to say. It is fascinating and fantastic. Ooh. Oh, and I'm sorry this is backwards. I can't flip the image around on my webcam for some reason. I think you can guess what it says, but forgive me. I'll try and get it fixed, but it may forever be backwards. Nothing I can do about that. Now let's go to the chat section, see if anyone has anything interesting to say about some of the things I've been sharing. We've got a few comments here. Let's have a look, see. Self-contented, hey, nice to see you. Caring Support Group says, the Nephilim helped bring me back to God. Me too. Me too. It answered a lot of questions that were keeping me from being fully committed to the idea. There's a lot of things I was wondering about, like the past, which made me think, you know, why would God flood the whole world realistically if he's all loving? As soon as the Nephilim were explained, it all clicked and everything made sense. I understood demons all of a sudden. I understood the real nature of spiritual warfare. I had a few experiences as well with demons and so forth, which obviously helped bring me closer to God. And I wouldn't trade any of it for anything. But the Nephilim are a powerful, powerful tool. And I made a video actually called "We Need to Talk About the Nephilim More," because of what you just said. It helps bring people to God. If you haven't seen that video already, go check it out. Maybe spread it around. What else we got? Ticina06 says, have you read Helena Blavatsky's Secret Doctrine? You can read for free online. She talks about 5 ages of man, and that we're in the 4th round. Yeah, well, the 5th age, you know, is represented by the Roman numeral V, and that's a common theme you see all over the place right now. The age of Aquarius. That's something else related to the 5th age, the new age, the dawning of the new age, the golden age. The 5th age. Yeah, so I haven't read the work specifically, but I know all about the work. That's all I can really say on that. She did start the Theosophy movement in the 1800s. The Theosophical Society is still going today. Russell Brand is, funny enough, a member of that as well. And the idea is to bring all the cultures and religions together to act like one. They claim it's just a place where religious people can share their ideas. But there is only one religious truth at the end of the day. We can't all be right. That philosophy is flawed from the beginning, even scientifically, by a objective standard of reality. Yeah, that makes sense. I'll say it like that. Exposed Secret Society says, dang, it's a shame more people are not here. Well, man, it's up to you guys to spread the link around, but this is only the 3rd episode. I get all the views usually afterwards, the live show, and we get a few people to join in, you know. And I like the few guys that are here with you. It shows, you know, that clearly must like what I'm doing if you come to listen to this show. I'm hoping as time goes on, I can start getting guests to come on and have a chat with me, some high-profile guests, whoever I can get. I know a few people in the industry, should I say, as far as you could call the truth culture industry, but I know a few people, so I'll see what I can do about that. But for now, you've just got me. Group G, just tuned in. Oi. Well, hello, Group G. It's nice to meet you. Nice to be here. Hope you enjoyed the show. So C06 says the Nephilim are from Planet X. I don't know about that. I don't know if Planet X is really I don't fully believe or understand yet if space is even real. That's what we've been told. I tend to believe what the Bible says in these things, and I do believe we have a firmament, whether it's a flat firmament or a dome firmament, or we live in a concave ball of some kind, or a bowl. I don't know. I don't know. And I don't really want to get into the flat Earth debate right now in this video, speaking about the Nephilim, but I will say I don't think they are from planet X. That's the Nibiru story, isn't it? That it came around, the Anunnaki came around from Nibiru. But Zachariah Sitchin, may have an ulterior motive with that, and there's a lot of deception, especially if you think you're translating the writings of demons, which is what the Anunnaki Nephilim are, probably going to be lying to you about where they actually came from, especially if you want to deceive thousands of people to worship you. And they did. They invented their own religions. They had their own pantheon, They took the attention away from God and came up with all sorts of fanciful, vain stories and philosophies about why they are here. And I think the Planet X may be one of those vain philosophies. Games Exposed. Hey, Games Exposed. Love your work, man. Thanks for tuning in. Honestly, I watched your recent video, by the way, where you were talking about, how you want to try and move away from conspiracy and get more back into gaming as well, and how you're a bit of an impasse with what to do with the channel. Mate, I was there myself a few months ago, and I decided I'm going to do some regular live shows at least once a week. Try to make more videos relating to conspiracy that are news related, up to date, modern in the moment. So I usually hold off from talking about the news for the controversy reasons, but I realise it'll help the channel grow and hopefully keep me inspired to keep making more videos, man. So keep making more videos yourself, Games Exposed. What you do is fantastic, man. Love it. Come on within 5 minutes if you want. I'll be sending a link into the chat soon, guys. You got anyone who wants to come on, have a chat. Mad Mike, I can see you there as well. If you want to come on and have a quick talk for the next hour, that'll be fantastic. I'll be sending the link in about 5 minutes, guys. It said here. Energy Flow says, we don't even know if space is real or what they tell us is real. The moon landing obviously did not happen. I agree. That's pretty much kind of what I understand and believe as well. Cena says, problem you have is most people are half asleep, only a few glimpses of truth. That those half asleep is like shouting to someone in a form of coma. Half truths, which is frustrating, but admitting we don't know the truth is the first step towards seeing the truth. Yes, it's best to accept that you know very little, especially in the eyes of God. Pride can get in the way when you're researching these things sometimes, and it can definitely as a whole when people start to be like that. And we have to try and humble ourselves here, really. And I know there's a lot we do not know. We do not know. The world is so mysterious. It's one of the greatest mysteries ever. It's a glorious testimony to how fantastic this creation truly is, in fact, and to God. Energy Flow says, evolution is bull and they are probably hiding technology from us. Yes, definitely. But I think we will see this technology be revealed in our time very, very soon, but it's going to be used against us to control us. Definitely to control us. I think holograms being projected in the sky showing aliens from planet X coming to tell us how they created us, and they come back once more to claim their property or something like that. And it's like typical fascists. Like I said, guys, if space isn't real, aliens aren't real, I know what we can document historically is real, thanks to this fantastic book. They are Nephilim giants, the offspring of fallen angels mating with human women, probably from Cain's line, and they corrupted all the flesh, were wiped out, and have been finding a way to come back here ever since. And I think there's a group of secret societies helping these things get back here, and when they do get back here, they're going to call themselves aliens. That's what the program is preparing you for. Do not be fooled, guys. We're smarter than this. We've been researching for many, many years. And if it ever does get to it and you're with your friends and family, look at them and say, I told you so. Get them ready. So when it happens, they will not be fooled. And hopefully they'll come to people like us who know the answers. And we can obviously guide them to the truth in Christ and the peace and safety in Christ as well. All we can do is get people saved. I'm not sure we can save the world, but we can save people. That's all that really matters. Okay, guys, so I'm going to grab the link here now to the chat, and you guys just hop in. I would ask that you politely mute your mic if you do join first, and then I'll actually sit back on when we'll stop talking, if that's okay. So everybody is hyperlink. It's probably a good thing there's only a few people here, because obviously this would be wild if we had people just flowing in. Where am I sitting? I am sitting in my art studio. It's a concrete building on its own, right? Really, it's where I make everything, and I have them for years on my music and all that kind of thing. But here we go. So there's the link, guys. The link is in the chat. Hop in. I'll keep an eye out for you guys now. Whoever wants to come in, that'd be fantastic, and we'll get a bit of a discussion going on. This is your chance to say whatever you want to say about whatever's on your mind, whatever's bothering you, whatever is inspiring you, terrifying you, pushing you along to want to know more. Your chance, guys. So the link is in the chat section. Hop on whenever possible. Mad Mike, it would be good to talk to you if you want to come on, man. It's been a while since we've had a conversation. Have a talk, haven't we? There's no time like the present. That's the best thing I can say. So yeah, the Nephilim demons. You know, I was out on a work staff do recently. We were celebrating because the store was closed for a few days. So we all, while we're all off work, let's all get together and have a drink. And in my slightly tipsy stupor, I was chatting to a co-worker about this, about demons and Nephilim and what I do on my channel. I rarely discuss these things with co-workers, you know, but luckily, to my surprise, she was very open to the idea, and she was looking at it saying, "Well, this makes so much sense. Why didn't I see this before? I mean, this does not sound crazy to me," is what she was saying. I was thinking, you know, maybe people are more open to this than we first think. It's just, I think a lot of people are scared to talk about these things with people because we worry about what the reactions are going to be. And lately, I'm finding more people are open to hearing alternative ideas. People are looking for answers in all kinds of places, and are willing to take anything, no matter how crazy it sounds, because they know they're kind of being lied to by the mainstream and their narrative. Yeah, don't be afraid to spread the truth, guys. Friends, family. I know. Some people will not take it. Some people will hate you. Some people will attack you. Some people. I've completely, you know. I think, or I pray anyway, that the seed will be planted, and they will know one day, and maybe they'll come back. Maybe they will. We're trying to get people saved here. It's not about ourselves, it's about other people. And always remember that. It's always about others, not ourselves. Now, we shouldn't obviously scare people with this information. And there are ways to tell people the truth that are better than others. Let's not to lay it on too thick at first. Breadcrumbs, you know, little bits at a time. Give them something that makes them go, whoa. Maybe for a month, maybe for two. Just leave them to think about it. And eventually, they'll start asking you questions. They'll start to say, what do you think about this? What do you think's going on here? You always have a different perspective on these things. What have you seen? You know, that's how people act with me. And I tell them. And then slowly, as time has gone on, I have people who are completely on my side now. You know, who were originally like, no, you're crazy, go away from me, I don't want to hear this. You know, they're on our side because the evidence is all around us. I mean, who doesn't watch television now? Be annoyed and absolutely appalled and disgusted. And the adverts that are just pumping propaganda at you consistently. Sorry. I'm going to read the comments here. I think it was San Cecilia saying. Whether a leftist revolution will be staged or real and whether it is a catalyst to a new world order, leftism, terrorism may increase either way. One could think left and right is an illusion to make us think we have choice, and the choices made by us lead us to tyranny. In dialectic, isn't it? The idea is you have one side and another, which seem to oppose each other, but realistically they're propping each other up. And if you get rid of one, they all collapse. So I think that's more realistic than what the left-right paradigm is for. They all answer to the one at the top, even though they seem on the surface to most people. Energy thoughts. She probably fancies you. That's why I want the girl. No, she's married, and she's way older and married. And no, yeah, so she's a manager as well. It doesn't work like that. She was just interested, and people are interested. That's all it is. It's not about whether they fancy you or not. Not many people fancy the conspiracy theorist guys, so that's just something you're going to have to deal with. You know. No. It looks like nobody wants to join me on the chat. Oh, well, that's your prerogative. I'm not going to stop you. I can keep talking for a long time. I'm pretty well versed in doing this now. If no one does join, I might read a bit more from this book, just to round off this nicely with some actual information. But there's something in the meantime I might as well bring to you. I'm going to make another video soon about the Nephilim look like clowns. And there's something that I remembered, which actually sent shivers down my spine when I started to recall these things. We have a telethon, I guess is an American word for it. People phone in and donate money for a cause like feeding children in Africa or something like that. And we call it Red Nose Day. It's this day where they put on this 4-hour-long telethon, and musicians perform and comedy sketches are put on and things like that, and people call it donate money to raise money for charity. But it's really for the children, because everyone starts wearing these silly red noses and crazy wigs, and it's kind of a day to be really, really silly and outrageous and clownish and foolish. But what we know about clowns now, considering the Nephilim demons look like clowns, thing just becomes a little bit more eerie, in my opinion. And I'm going to screen share in a second and show you a few things, that I've been looking at some pictures recently. I gathered of this, so I'll screen share here. Right, good stuff. And yeah, these are the recent pictures I've kind of gathered together to show how much this Red Nose Day is prevalent in our society, and how I think it's another created I can't seem to open pictures for some reason. Sorry, there's technical issues. These things happen. All right, so this is, like I said, Red Nose Day was designed for the kids. It's always for the kids, isn't it, with these people? Look at all these children just like good little Nephilim trapped in the fractal matrix. This is what our culture does in Britain. We get children to do these things. This is annoying. I think I'm going to open one at a time. See what this does. Well, sorry about this, guys. It doesn't normally do this. Here we go. So yeah, here's the kids walking around with the little money pots, the little cans to shake around. That's not a euphemism, by the way, though I do wonder with the pedophiles that run the world if that is what the euphemism they're trying to spread here is. As you can see, red is a common theme in this Red Nose Day. And you may have seen it in America. Celebrities take part in this, and they get all the everyone to wear a red nose and to dress like clowns and Nephilim. Now, red is just this horrible color. It's a color of blood and lust and wrath. Say love, I suppose, but I want to kind of love. It's a color of war. It's a color of sacrifice. So red. I do wonder why this is a prevalent thing, but the BBC is the group that created this, and BBC is 223, which is 322 in reverse, which is a Masonic skull and bones number. So anything that comes from these guys has got to be considered dubious at best. Is the presenters, throughout the years the designs have changed, and I believe this is just another in-your-face veneration of the Nephilim giants that we'll want here. Here he is with his big red nose and his huge, abnormally large ears, like a giant. Rowan Atkinson. Now, look at the design of some of these things as well. Here's Rowan Atkinson, and obviously got this monster, a dinosaur, and a reptilian lizard. You couldn't get any more Masonic and demonic than that, really, knowing what we know in the conspiracy culture, Very creepy stuff. Here we go, another actor. Looking at this praying with the red nose at the top, Yeah, not very good. First Katy Perry wearing her reptilian red nose. And God, I forgot his name now. We all know who this guy is. Sorry, I can't remember his name. Off my head up. Memory's just gone blank. But yeah, this guy. And that's quite funny, all these clowns in business suits throwing their money into a bucket, a black bucket. I don't know. That's supposed to be an advertisement of some kind for the Nephilim. I don't know. Not a very flattering advertisement, to say the least. So yeah, here's some of the recent noses. Why the reptilian thing? Why would you even bother with that? Unless you understand that the seraphim, fallen angels that came to Earth, were reptilian in nature. And I think Stargate Atlantis and the Gua'uld, with their reptilian heads over the snakes of Egypt type of thing. These things with feathered serpents of Quetzalcoatl and the Aztecs. The reptilian theme is not uncommon. And it seems like it's prevalent in this Red Nose Day event as well, which is for the kids. Yeah, so I'm going to make a video about this soon. So I thought this is something I'd bring to you guys, which you might find interesting. Another connection to the series, which I will have to bring to you. Yeah, we can go on forever with this guy, so that's just something else I want to bring to you. But stop sharing that. Excellent. Let's go back over to the chat here and see what's going on. Games Exposed. I can't join your talk right now, but I am listening and watching. Also, it seems I've been unsubscribed to you. Sure, I am subbed. Yeah, well, it's that time, isn't it, where YouTubers of our ilk aren't really getting away with what we used to be able to get away with anymore. They're kind of shutting us down slowly and taking down our channels, yeah, which is sad. I don't know about you, Games Exposed, but for me, they have this safe mode now on YouTube where you can click it and YouTube removes things that it deems unsavory or perhaps could be offensive or perhaps violates their child protection ideas or whatever they want to consider. But in safe mode, they remove videos that they deem unsuitable, and half of my videos disappear instantly. And every other month now, one video has kind of been penalized or demonetized because of this mass exodus, this attack on truthers on YouTube. And this came in the wake of, the fake news thing, which was originally designed to demonize the right-wing conspiracy, conservative Christian thinkers and video makers, and it seems to have switched now to the leftist liberal media, being called fake news by Donald Trump. And it's just a big circus. Let's keep to the theme of the clown Nephilim. It's like a bunch of clowns arguing with other clowns and performing for us, and we have Snoop Dogg's Bad Not Good, or Lavender, whatever the song was called, where everyone was dressed as a clown, and the clown Donald Trump was being shot by Snoop Dogg. It just seems like just a big circus to entertain other people, doesn't it? But the real victims are those who value freedom of speech and the truth, because while everyone's distracted by all this entertainment, we're being attacked and demonetized. We're having people unsub from us. We're having people, lose money, be demonetized. And like I said, I never really made that much money. I never really got many viral videos. I didn't make videos to be viral. I made my videos for other video makers to see, because I wanted to help the video makers kind of. Well, some of them did a great job. A lot of them, I didn't like the style. I thought they were too dramatic, a little bit silly, not serious enough about these things. To the point where it was driving people away rather than bringing them to the culture to join us. So I wanted to create the channel to set an example and try and get to know these channel makers and maybe give a bit of criticism, of course. But I'm not perfect myself, and I just realized that it's more about therapy. I guess people need somebody to talk to. But yeah, I never made that much money because that wasn't in demand, but it's just something I've always wanted to do. About £60, which is about 55 American dollars every 3 months. So anyway, on topic, I'm opening up a Patreon. If any of you guys want to donate, the link will be in the chat box here, in the description below. Yeah, I've opened that recently, and I've got 3 patrons already, which is nice. And any money I earn from the channel goes into a savings account. I have a job to pay for day-to-day needs and so forth. But all the money I get, I want to save and use for future projects more than anything. So if anyone wants to donate anything who's listening, please, get on there and help me out if you want. You don't have to. There's some offers I gave on there as well. If you pay a certain amount, I'll give you certain privileges. You come on the show, but then they one-to-one personal talks in private as well. Prices are relatively negotiable, you know what I mean? And what I created on there, I didn't really think much about. But if you really want someone to talk to, and you don't want to pay the full $49.99 a month for that, just ask, and we'll work something else out, that's fine. But I realized, with the little time I have doing full-time work and trying to make videos and trying to sleep with massive time differences for a large portion of my audience as well, I do need to start kind of charging people for my time in that respect, because I put a lot of work and effort into this, a lot. And just a very little gain in terms of profit from it. And as an artist, it would be nice to be paid for the artwork I create. It really would be nice, I see these YouTube channels making absolute nonsense, like dildo drones or dick bicycles or whatever comical clickbait titles are for beginning. And these people are millionaires. Not let these guys have all the YouTube money. I mean, come on. What kind of world is this? The more money we give them, the more power we give them to create more of the same old shit. Yeah. Problem is with the truth of culture, they're all very funny about money. They think money is the ultimate evil, and anyone who wants money is evil. So come on, guys. Do you live in the world with the rest of us? I know we're not supposed to be of the world, but we're still in it, whether we like it or not. And people need money to eat and pay the bills. I don't see why we should be any different. Yeah, that's just my 2 cents on that. You're right, Games, I suppose. I'm sorry you were unsubscribed to me. I don't know how long it's been, but hey, catch up on my videos. And if you want to have a talk on the channel anytime, let me know. Give me a message. I'd love to have a talk on your channel too. Like I said, I play video games myself. Right now I'm playing Battlefield 1 quite a lot. I am a sucker for first-person shooters, guys. I'm not gonna lie. I know that's terrible for Christian shooting people and stuff. But I don't see it as the violence thing. I like the World War games because of the history involved and the atmosphere and the sense of what it was like then, all this type of thing. I like my video games to be informative and deep and make you think and get engrossed in a rich storyline. And video games never really let me down in that respect, and I can see through the propaganda when it's there as well. So I try to avoid it if I can. Sometimes it's fun to play to find the propaganda because who knows, I can make a decent video about it. I'm sure Games Exposed understand this. Games Exposed says, "Yeah, YouTube is horrible now, but we must survive these harsh waters." Yes, and I think we will. It'll all come out in the wash anyway at the end. And, as long as we stick together and stay in love, and honesty and the truth, I think we'll be okay. Loving USA says, Google equals evil. Damn right, brother. Google is literally evil, even though their motto is "do no evil." Right? Remember that? Like we're gonna trust them. Why would they have to say such a thing if they weren't intending to do such a thing? What about misdirection? But yeah, Google is it's all owned by Zionist Jews. As cliche as that sounds, so is YouTube or JewTube, as it's been a popular phrase growing among Kickstanians, as they like to call themselves. But that's a whole other topic for a whole other day, I suppose. To do a whole video on that, the alt-right movement. I mean, quickly, I consider myself a white Christian nationalist. Though I don't focus on my race, but I understand, yes, I am white. I'm about as white as it gets, guys, and there's nothing I can do about that. I don't think I'm an evil person because of it, though a lot of people were trying to tell me that I am. I'm a nationalist. I'm proud of my country's history, where I come from, how I got here, my family, my heritage. I think I have something to be proud of there. Stobbs' name. Yeah, but a lot of people don't want us to be proud of that. There's a pushing agenda to destroy white pride. To destroy white pride. It's okay to have gay pride, black pride, pride of anything, as long as it's not white. And that has to be addressed. Okay, if people want to call me a racist, call me a goddamn racist. I'm not. And I'm just pointing out the obvious, guys. And it's becoming more and more obvious as the days go by, you know what I mean? And as a result, there's a rising movement, the alt-right. The alt-right. Well, that's what the media calls them anyway, and the alt-right kind of labels themselves that. It's not a left-right thing, it's just the truth. People need to just get out of this left-right paradigm and creating enemies for themselves. Everyone in this world is a victim, essentially. Even the Muslims in Islam, the first victims of Islam are Muslims. They have a boot on their neck. They can't get out because they'll be killed for apostasy. So they aren't our enemies. Most people in politics don't really understand what they're involved with. It's only the higher up scale. So the government isn't our enemy. It's a very specific secret society and groups of people. The beast system. The devil is our enemy. We were warned in the Bible, we were told what to expect, and it's happening now. So wise up, guys. Stop causing more and more division within yourself. Join the truther culture. Get out of this Kekstani alt-right culture, this thing you've created, worshipping a false god called Kek. Who's the representative of the primordial darkness, the darkness before the light. It's like, how Luciferian can you get in symbolism? You don't even know that. You don't even know, do you? You're too busy fighting social justice warriors, which I get. They annoy the hell out of me, the leftists. The socialists and the communists has completely denied history and hundreds of millions of deaths caused by their idiotic beliefs. And the people who do not learn from history are doomed to repeat it. And I'm not a fan of them either, but the right, the conservative side can't be any worse. We can't use their tactics. Just get back to Jesus. Stop being strong in your family. Stop learning about your history and heritage and being proud of your nation and where you come from. and get right with God, and I reckon things would get back to normal pretty quickly. There's a lot that has to be done. There's a lot of things that people need to deal with, a lot of battles and fights that need to be had, hopefully with words. But yeah, that's all I can really say on the alt-right. Mainstream media is being exposed, says Love in USA. Brexit now. Man, Brexit, yeah, I wish Brexit was everything it could have been, but it isn't going to become what we want it to be. It's hijacked by globalists. You know, the Conservative Party is a globalist party. Corbyn is a complete socialist globalist himself, completely sold out. As a communist, you know, it doesn't matter. Any of our leaders right now will not do the job correctly. They'll botch the whole thing, they'll slow it down, and they'll give us a half-assed attempt at Brexit, which will keep us in the customs union, common market. We'll still end up having to take an influx of refugees from third world countries, which are not compatible with our traditions or heritage. The West will be destroyed unless the people have a true revolution. But it's not going to happen if we're divided into the left and the right. It'll never happen. There'll come a point where people realise, but by then I wonder if it'll be too late. I can't see a way out of this without violence. I don't want there to be violence. I might not be involved in the violence myself, but I see it. Don't think there's much else that can be done. And revolutions have been fought in the past over things like this. You know, it's nothing new. Natasha Robinson says, would you mind saying your age? My age, I'm 24, but on the 4th of July, Independence Day, which I believe is Tuesday, I'm 25. 25, halfway to 30. Yeah, I'm quite young. I got into this stuff when I was about 21. Maybe 20. Well, when I started university, I was about 20. I graduated in 2014, started researching these things in 2010 in the build-ups in 2012 disaster. So I've been doing this for a while, but yeah, I'm 25 soon. God, how the years fly. God, time. Is time speeding up, or is it just me? I'm serious. Like, everyone keeps saying this. It seems like days go by, but the memories of them are just mushed into this one repetitive idea. You know, time. Yeah, time is a funny thing for me. I've always had a funny concept of time. Maybe it was all the psychedelics I did before I found Christ. I messed up my time perception nodes or something. I don't know. But yeah, I'm 20. I'll be 25 in literally a few days. So yeah, that's how old I am. Natasha. Loving USA says leftists are a lost cause. Yeah, they sure are. It seems that way. I mean, I tried talking to them and getting to them, but yeah, they are seriously against us. They hate Christians as well. As soon as you bring up Christianity, God, they shut you down instantly. Cecina says psychopaths treat people as objects at their disposal. They do. Psychopaths, actually, I have a book. Where is it? Called Brainwashing: The Science of Thought Control. And with a big eye on the front, you know, typical. But this book it gives a lot of insight into the psychopathic mind. Torture and seduction here is another section. It's a secular book, but it has some interesting things on the idea of the psychopath. And I definitely, I'll read some of this to you sometime. Right now, I wouldn't know what to go in the chapter, but I'll have a quick skim over and I'll find some good stuff here. And we'll talk about psychopathy some more, the science behind psychopathy, the mental concepts behind it. So that's a fascinating thing. And we really, to understand our enemy is to understand the psychopath. Because they're the true radical terrorists. And they make up a very small percent of the population. Very, very small percent of the population. They usually end up in positions of high power. So yeah, psychopathy is definitely something we'll research. Perhaps that'll be the next topic, Natasha, for the next episode, episode 4. We're coming up to the hour-and-a-half mark. I might call it soon, while I've read a nice number. However, one last chance. I am going to paste the link to this hangout in the chat. And if anyone wants to join to talk for the next 10 minutes or so about whatever they want, now's your chance, guys. If not, I'm going to end the chat in the next 5 minutes. To summarize, again, I want to say, please contribute and help me on Patreon. I'm just going to ask, shameless plug there in my own video. Why not? If you like the work and want to support me, please consider contributing. It would be a great help. And also, in terms of topics for the future, I'd like you to send me information. I would really like you guys to tell me what you want to hear more of. Because it's all well and good me bringing stuff to you. But I might get it wrong. I might not always bring the content you want to see. So a bit of feedback from the viewers and subscribers would be fantastic. I think someone's just joined. I can hear the mic there.
Hey, brother.
Living USA. Hey, man. How are you?
I'm good. Are you able to hear me?
Yeah, could you just turn your mic down a little bit if that's okay? Just a little bit.
My first time on the hangout. Sorry, bro.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Don't worry about it. Yeah, that's fine. So how are you anyway? Anything you want to talk about tonight? Have you enjoyed the show? Hello? Living USA, you might have your mic on mute, I'm not sure, but I can't talk to you right now. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Good stuff, man. So how have you been anyway? Anything you want to talk about tonight? Anything that's been on your mind?
Yeah, usually I start talking about 9/11 because 9/11 I feel is the key to our current reality.
Go ahead. Tell us all you want to tell about it then. What do you think about 9/11?
9/11 was an inside job done by the Bushes, Dick Cheney, and CIA. And that was for one, the Patriot Act, the second, to endless war on terror for profits for military industrial complex.
No, I agree. Well, the world certainly has. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
That's just on one level. The second level, it was planned by the Rockefellers for decades as a mass ritual sacrifice of humans to assist negative demonic energies.
I do agree. The world certainly has changed a lot since that day, hasn't it? It's not what it used to be. And it was definitely used. There was a lot of power within that event that has just messed with the psyches of the whole population of the world to accept militaristic regime and control and surveillance of citizens and the people. A lot of privacy has been given up for security over this whole event. But I do believe, symbolically speaking, the two towers, the number 11, the towers of Jachin and Boaz in Freemasonry being brought down to raise the one tower in the middle, the fifth column of the New Age, the tower in the center of the Masonic symbolism. It was all there, and also I do believe they were symbolic, and they looked a lot like DNA markers, scientific strips that I created to show people's DNA printed out. And it seems like the merging, the two DNAs collapsing, perhaps the male and the female, and then the one World Freedom Tower being created as this hexagonal interlocking shape of the two becoming one. The Asper Solar Law principle kind of thrown in there as well. Yeah, there's a lot about that event, isn't there, that as time went on, we kind of uncovered. And it just gets darker and darker. What do you think about the symbolic side to it all?
I agree with you about the symbolic stuff. And I feel that if someone researches 9/11, they can find the key to our current reality, especially in America. even in the world. That's the key that will connect you to the present and to the past, because the Rockefellers had planned it for decades, how the buildings were built and everything, and the money and everything that happened on that day, and the people who were killed.
You're right.
That woke me up, because I didn't believe it. I thought that it would have to take so many elements for that one thing to be planned as an inside job. But once I researched the CIA, the Chinese, and the globalists, everything fell in place.
That's right. It does. It does, doesn't it? 9/11 was the one topic I think that got everybody into the truth. It was the main thing that kind of kick-started the truth of what it is today, which is a good sign. It shows that not everyone was willing to so easily fall for the narrative, but we're still very few in number, those people who, like ourselves, have questioned the mainstream narrative. But I admit I didn't for a long time. Like it was 2011. It took me 10 years to fully comprehend just how deep and deceptive the whole event was. I mean, I remember the day clearly. I remember I was in primary school, actually. Oh, no, early years of high school, and I remember getting home at the end of the day, and everyone was watching the news. I believe we were sent home early that day as well. I'm not sure. Yeah, I think we were. And I remember coming in and seeing my family sat there in the living room, all sat around looking at the TV and seeing the towers burning in the place. I was kind of too young to really grasp it. And as scary as it sounds, I was quite a brainwashed child. I don't remember feeling much emotion the more I think about it now. So I didn't have much of an attachment to the event, and I think at that age I was very self-centered, narcissistic, and kind of in my own world. But as I got older, and I saw the changes in the world very rapidly. I saw the surveillance and the mass manipulation and the evil kind of revealing itself, manifesting here and there in the people and in the government and in the world and in kind of media and everything. And I guess I was always going to figure it out. That's the way I think about it. But what advice do you have? I'm guessing you talk about this a lot to people looking to say. What advice do you have when trying to tell people about 9/11? What have you found a good way to do this? That's the best to get through the message to these people.
Yes, I have tried to keep it simple. Just a few points that I discussed with you. That does go a long way. And I fell for that trick for a long time. I didn't wake up in 2001 or 12. I actually woke up in 2016. So for 14 or 15 years, I was always supporting Bush. I was always supporting the war in Afghanistan and Iraq and everything. In 2006, there was a horoscopic alignment on planet Earth, due to which a lot of people woke up. The election in 2016 helped that, and from there I've gone on, and I feel that this is a spiritual battle. As in the Bible, we do not fight against flesh and blood, and it will be won by spiritual means through our consciousness.
That's right. Yeah, we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but principalities, powers in high places, wickedness in high places. The prince of the air is Lucifer. The airwaves, the streams, the television, the consciousness itself. I mean, I mentioned the Nephilim at the beginning of this whole talk. I don't know if you heard that part. But the Nephilim demons, the giants of the past during the flood, who have become the demons of today, which these Luciferians and Satanists try and make deals with and contact and summon. And I think 9/11 was a huge ritual which brought a lot of darkness into our world. So I do believe it was kind of an invocation event as well. And the evil that's manifested since has definitely woken a lot of people up. So I'm guessing you say it was the election then. Was it Trump and Hillary that got you into all this?
Well, it really got me into politics, yes, because I didn't used to follow as much earlier. But a lot of people have woken up in 2016. A lot of people are aware of what's going on. And as it's in the Bible, it's going to be a spiritual battle where we have to be truthful, we have to be honest, we have to be on the correct road, because the globalists, they have all the money, they have all the weapons, they have all the power. We cannot defeat them that way. And there are principalities backing them, negative, demonic entities, which we have to battle spiritually.
We must put on the full armor of God. We must stay right, righteous, and truthful at all times. Tell the truth. This is a spiritual battle. You're right. This isn't going to be one with guns or knives. This is going to be one with getting right with God. It's kind of cliche, but I do believe only He can save us now. The recent election in Britain between Theresa May and Jeremy Corbyn, the Conservatives and the Labour, again, a very messed up election, a very corrupt election. When it came to the ballot, I looked at the ballot and I thought, I cannot vote for any of these people because I know they work for, spiritually speaking and physically speaking. You know? Yes. So I just wrote God over the ballot, made a little square, put an X in it. That was my vote. Only He can save us now. I'm putting all my faith in Him. No man, no leader. War is coming. That's something we're going to have to make clear here. I don't think I think it's unavoidable now. All is rolling. Don't be deceived. The New World Order is just around the corner, but that also means so is Jesus. On the corner as well. So we have hope, we have faith in that, and I guess call it a night there, Loving USA. But thank you for coming on. I appreciate it. And thank you for sharing that information on 9/11. Please stick around. Come back to the next show if you want to talk for a bit longer. I'll try and do this again next week, maybe at the same time on a Friday night at 10. Luckily, I have this week off. I booked it off for my birthday. So yeah, thanks again. We'll leave it there, guys. Loving USA. We'll see you again soon. Let's just go over to the chat here and see what anyone said anything that would they bring up. No, it seems like Natasha Robinson says, this man shares my exact feelings. So I think that's for you there, Loving USA. So you already have one fan already. Maybe you should consider making your own YouTube channel. Have you thought about that?
Thanks for saying that. And it's a pleasure speaking with
you. No problem. Okay. Have a good night, guys. Thank you, and God bless everybody and everyone of you. Okay, stay safe.